Hey everyone, Sky here to discuss A Nightmare on Elm Street Part 2, Freddy's Revenge. Starring Robert Englund, Tim Myers, Clu Gulager, Marshall Bell, Christy Clark, Mark Patton, Rupert Russler, and Hope Lang, and directed by Jack Shoulder. Now, I have seen this movie before, and do I remember enjoying it? Well, let's get into it and we'll find out. The movie opens with a school bus filled with high school kids, and at the end this of the scene, Freddy Krueger, returned by Robert Englund, is driving the bus. As it turns out, it was Jesse Walsh's dream, as he wakes up in the Elm Street house Nancy lived in the last movie, and screams when his mother and father and sister hear him and wonder why can't wake up like a normal person would. And the father is an asshole when it comes to Jesse and doesn't know he's driving Lisa. And these are bad characters in this movie, with an exception of Freddy Krueger. But everyone else is bad in this movie, including the school bully Grady. Or a friend, I don't know what to call him at this point. Jesse dreams of Freddy again, and this time he sees him in the boiler room, and Jesse almost goes down there, but he encounters Freddy as he's peeling his brain and wakes up sweating like crazy. And Jesse falls asleep the next day in class, and Brady wakes him up with a snake crawling around him, which was funny in an odd kind of way. Jesse calls Lisa on the phone and almost goes out until the father tells him to unpack his room, and almost makes a mess of it until Lisa comes in to help and finds Nancy's diary and realizes the same person that attacked Nancy wants to attack Jesse, and they find out his name is Freddy Krueger. And at that night, once again, he dreams of Freddy. And honestly, I'm not quite going with this movie, as it's preposterous. The birds in the cage are shaking and killing each other as the father blames Jesse because it's so damn hard in his house. Hot, I should rephrase that. And he thinks Jesse has set up the heat versus the birds killing each other, which doesn't make any sense because he says it's too damn hot, and how could he set up the birds killing each other? Jesse runs out of the house and go to a bar and sees Coach Schneider is there, and as he's been caught, and makes him run laps. And why would you do that after school hours, especially when it's like 9 o'clock at night? And he dies while Jesse is in the showers by Freddy Krueger as he whips towels on Schneider's ass and cuts his back bleeding, and Jesse just stood there and watched, and Jesse runs out naked, and the cops catch him, and the father is led to believe he's on drugs and thinks Jesse needs a kick in the ass, which is so wrong for so many reasons for parents to do that, because Jesse sees dramatic things happening around him, and they believe he needs professional help and a kick in the ass. What a joke of a movie this is. Jesse and Lisa go to the boiler room where Freddy worked at before he died, and Jesse takes pills where he doesn't sleep, and he gets all moody with everyone, and Lisa has a party, and Jesse is not into it, and he's afraid to go to sleep versus stay awake, which feels like it doesn't make much sense because you have to do one or the other. Then Jesse and Lisa kiss until she sees his tongue is like Freddy's tongue. And he goes to Grady's house to crash, and this is turning into a mess of a movie. Meanwhile, Lisa tries to get him, and as Grady goes to sleep, Jesse gets finger knives, is coming out of Jesse's fingers, and Jesse becoming Freddy, and Grady is killed and is making it led to believe Jesse did it. And that's when the movie gets very problematic, because Freddy is like a demon possessing Jesse and destroying Lisa's house and attacking everyone inside the house as well as the backyard. And Jesse begs Lisa to kill him, and Freddy runs out of the house and traps and kills people at the party and disappears. It was beginning to lose my interest at this point. Lisa goes to the boiler room factory and tries to find Jesse slash Freddy to free Jesse and lose Freddy. And she has a scratch and feels bugs on her leg, or on her legs, excuse me, like dead bugs, and finds a rat and a cat eats it looking like a monster. And she finds Freddy and she frees Jesse by saying I love you. Jesse, which sounds like a hell of a lot like the plot of Beauty and the Beast, when Belle says to the Beast I love you, and she grabs Freddy's arm and tells Jesse to fight him and to come back to her, and the factory starts to burn as well as Freddy's because his weakness is fire, which we'll find out in Freddy versus Jason, what I'm led to believe. And Jesse is free from the curse of as Freddy is dead now, or for now, excuse me, and defeated, and we end on the same dream that opens the movie, but with these characters, they all die. Now it's time for the rating. I'll give this movie a 2.7 out of 10. The movie is preposterous, stupid, and makes no bit of damn sense. The characters and their acting is just awful, and it lost my patience as well as my interest, and I can't stand the possessive demon movies after the first Exorcist movies, and this is no exception. So I'd like to thank you guys for joining me, and next week I will be back with The Nightmare on Elm Street 3, and until next time, 1, 2, Freddy's coming for you.